started painting the splitter for the front of the Starlet. Trying to be as careful as possible because I've never done much painting, so I spent a lot of time prepping it, getting it all sanded back. Had to shorten this from the one up there. I'm just going over with some dust coats to start with. Still a couple of scratches in it that I didn't really get out the best, but we'll deal with that some other time. I had to shorten it by quite a bit to fit the front arches that I'm using, because they're normally used on the TRD arches, which are very wide on the front, and mine have the same bottom part of the standard wing, and then the Mark II arch steps out slightly higher than where the TRD one would. So I cut a section out of here and then joined it back up with fiberglass and sanded the whole thing down, filled any of the gaps that were in it, coated in probably 6 or 7 coats of primer, and like I said, just putting the dust coats on now, and then we'll start on to doing the full body coats and lacquer maybe this evening or tomorrow. The car is also back from Donegal. We've got the suspension in it set up now by Cathal Brown. He was very happy with the car overall. Still plenty problems with it, but he's fixed a few of the little niggly bits that we were having problems with. Car's set up. He's happy with how it's handling. He said there's plenty of power and the brakes are working really well. I've also been working on this bonnet scoop, which is off a Mark II Pajero. I made that mould a couple of months back now and just never had time to properly sand it down. So it's sanded all back to smooth, and now I just have to go up through the grits to finish it off. I have the first full coat on, but still a little bit of primer coming through. Just hope I have enough to finish it off. So the paint on this is dried now, and I'm going to give it a quick wipe off just to get any of the dust that settled on it over the night off of it, and then go over it with 3 or 4 coats of lacquer. just put the last layer of lacquer on the splitter and give it a much heavier coat this time, just to try and remove any of the small pits that were in it from the first two layers. It looks okay. I hope I wasn't too generous with it, so I don't want it to go get a frosty white look from over lacquering it. Seems to be okay so far. There's still definitely like some areas that need a little bit more lacquer, like down here. But I think it should be good enough. I'm gonna get out of here because it stinks and there's a little fly going around. I really hope it doesn't land in it. The lacquer is mostly dried, and that frosting kind of thing has happened just here along that crease in the fiberglass. So, and a little bit down here, just where it's kind of pooling. It's not the end of the world though. We will. No real need to sand it back. It's probably going to be covered with stickers anyway. But the important thing is that we get this on the car as soon as possible, so we can get the pictures taken for the logbook. So this one here is an unmodified one of the TRD front splitters. It's quite a bit wider than my one after I've cut it down. Just shows how wide the front TRD arches actually are versus the standard.